Hello and welcome to At Brookings. I'm Gigi Hitton. Financial experts seem to agree that we're on the verge of economic recovery. But how much of that is due to the government's stimulus plan? Our panel of experts weigh in on that issue as we mark 6 months of stimulus spending. Then, senior fellow Bruce Riedel looks ahead to the all-important elections in Afghanistan and how the outcome will affect the United States. And then the man on the street weighs in on those passionate town hall meetings about health care reform, and they talk about how that will affect the legislation. We'll have all that next at Brookings.
This is At Brookings, a review of news and events for the week of August 10th, 2009.
The nation is 6 months into the federal government stimulus plan, and by some measure, things appear to be improving. In other areas, there's doubt. A panel of Brookings experts weighs in on whether the stimulus is working as planned.
The problem with the stimulus program has been it's just taken too long to get it going. The crisis hit in mid-September. Congress never acted until the spring, and then it takes a couple of months for the government agencies to get it set up. So most of the money is going to be spent in the future. It is going to be a big plus in driving us out of the recession. So in the recovery, I think we'll see that it's a major factor for the United States. I think it's now got it going pretty well. If you're looking on the downturn, I think there's one area where the program did work surprisingly well. And that is if you're looking at the flow of income, disposable income to households in the U.S. Absent any action by the government, disposable income was dropping by an annual rate of $500 billion. That's a huge reduction in household income through July.
Home prices at the national level had dropped 6.3% over the past year, from the first quarter of 09 to 08. But if you look across the top 100 metropolitan areas, home prices dropped as severely as 30%. In 1 year in Stockton, California, again near Central Valley, and in Vegas. And we've been hearing again how the foreclosure crisis has really rocked places like Florida, California, Arizona, Nevada, and they are seeing it play out in many ways. But then the home prices actually increased in some parts of the country, rose by 4.7% in Houston, and in some places in upstate New York. So this is a highly uneven recovery, and I think what our big takeaway from this is that broad-based fiscal measures, stimulus measures, may not be enough.
Do I think the town hall meetings will have an effect on the final form of the health care bill? I do, both positively and negatively.
I do think that the town hall meetings are having an impact because this administration is very much about what the public has to say, I feel.
The anger and the frustration and the emotion that's coming out of it, I think that could drown out some of the policy and the things that people are saying.
And that's what I think.
The presidential election is just days away in Afghanistan, and senior fellow Bruce Riedel says this election is critical for the legitimacy of the government there and for the United States as well.
I think that this election is absolutely critical to the legitimacy of the Afghan government. And I think the good news here is that we really have a horse race now. An election that 6 months ago looked like it was going to be pro forma and was simply going to ratify an additional period for President Karzai is now a real election. And not only is that more fun to watch, but it's also more likely to produce legitimacy for whomever the outcome favors. But it is a very serious challenge for the NATO alliance and for Afghanistan to pull off an election, particularly in those areas where the Taliban is so strong, and make it look respectable.
At Brookings is produced by the Brookings Institution. To learn more about the issues discussed on At Brookings, visit our website at brookings.edu.